It's Monday, and as y'all know, Mondays we dive deep and we talk about my 120-pound weight loss journey. And not only that, I really like to explain where I started, how I did it, the steps that I took to do it, and of course, just honestly, any helpful tips that can really help those who were in the same situation as me. I'm really excited for this video because I feel as if when people see my 120-pound weight loss journey, they see the transformation, they see the before and afters, they think to themselves already, like, there's no way I can do that. She went from body weighted exercises to doing deadlifts, thrusting like 400 pounds. You know, I don't ever see myself visually being able to do that. Me looking back, and me being in this position actually today, I never would have thought that I would have been able to do that. I never thought that. There's a lot of differences from when I first started to today that still blow my mind. It's why I'm so passionate about it, because if you knew where I came from, and if you knew basically what I went through growing up, on all these years that honestly just go unseen when it comes to sharing my journey, I think that you would have a really big understanding of, wow, like, you know, actually when I see her transformation and I see what she's went through, I can see myself doing it now too. And so this video has been one that I wanted to share for so many years now. So let's go ahead and dive deep into it. And let's start from the beginning. Before moving on, make sure y'all subscribe, like, and comment, as this really helps me be able to continue to do these videos for you guys each Monday. If you do not have me on Instagram, make sure that you go and follow, as I'm very active on there, and that is my most active platform. Well, when I was growing up, like, I didn't struggle with my weight until somewhere between second grade and third grade. Me and my family decided to make a move. So I was kind of torn away from all my friends, and not only my friends, we moved away from all of my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, like my entire family. I think like, and unknowingly, I didn't really know that this affected me so much until actually when I think back about it. But that summer is when I gained a ton of weight for the very first time in my life. Turning 8, I then all of a sudden was one of the biggest girls in my class. And so I gained weight pretty quickly, and not only did I gain weight, but I got some big old tatas that came with it, and all around my body changed drastically. So of course that was my first year, not only in a new school, a new atmosphere, and around all these just like new people, but I also was very new to experiencing the comments and hateful things that were said about people who are overweight and struggling with that. Not only did I gain weight, but actually my brother and I gained weight at the same time. So he also gained a ton of weight that summer. And I think all around it was just a big adjustment for both of us. Of course, my confidence definitely was hit pretty hard. I struggled really bad with my confidence when I was in elementary school and middle school. Oh, middle school was horrible. And not only just because of my appearance, but I also had a really bad learning disability. I couldn't talk actually until I was 5 years old, and I am actually severely dyslexic as well. Little fun fact, a lot of my clients know this about me, but I am dyslexic. And I used to have a pretty bad speech impediment. So I couldn't read, write, or speak for the most part when I was in elementary school. Hard thing for me to talk about, because as a founder of one of the largest, you know, weight loss fitness programs in the US right now, it's hard to say, oh, hey, by the way, like, I used to struggle really bad with all this. But I think thinking about it honestly blows my mind. I don't plan on getting emotional talking about that, but I think a lot of my confidence that I struggled with was not because of my appearance. I think it was more the struggle that I faced just trying to learn, trying to keep up with my class, put myself in this like category of, you know, this is where you're at. You know, you can't dream too hard, because, you know, we're here and you feel as if everyone else is here. You know, and it was, you know, of course I got made fun of for my weight, but I think that comments about my weight was nothing compared to comments about me messing up on saying a certain word. Oh, she doesn't know how to read well. I grew up with the best mother in the world. She was above and beyond. I basically, after I went to school, I basically had a second school that I had to go to, and it was with her. She would spend hours every single day after school helping me, teaching me, and doing stuff, and just all these other things, you know, and I don't have to go into detail about that. But because of that, and because of that extra time she spent into me, I graduated 90% of my class. I was in a National Honor Society. I was, I think, 8th in my class. There was a lot of amazing things that I felt so proud of on graduation day. Growing up, I would say trying fad diets. I tried it all. I did the Advocare, I did Weight Watchers. For some reason, my weight would just always like get up there. I did the HCG diet, where the HCG diet had me eating 500 calories a day. This was also during basketball season, to where I was very active. And not only was I eating 500 calories a day, they also had you take a shot every morning. So every morning I would have to give myself a shot. I would eat literally nothing and also have practice, school, games. And when I did that diet, I threw up probably almost every single day, besides maybe 2 days out of the 40 days that I did it. I was so sick. I was exhausted. I was in pain. It was absolutely, honestly, the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. I lost 50 pounds. And although I lost that weight, I felt as if I was so freaking miserable because of how bad it was. I just felt like I was being tortured for 40 days straight. You know, I did that diet. I lost the 50 pounds. I was then sitting at like the lowest weight I've ever been at. I think I was like 155, 160, but obviously back to just like normal eating. I mean, of course, I had your regular, food. I would have chips sometimes. I would have cereal sometimes. But it wasn't like I struggled with binge eating or anything like that in high school. I didn't. My eating habits were very inconsistent, to where I would skip lunch a lot. I honestly ate very normal, but for some reason my body just did not respond well to normal food, even though it was very freaking active on top of that and whatnot. And with time, I gained about 90 pounds. So that sucked. So I went from like, oh my gosh, like, if you even looked at my high school pictures, and I'm gonna pull them up, but I went from this, oh my gosh, I'm at the lowest weight I've ever been, to gaining 90 pounds. I was, for the first time, actually over 200 pounds. That was kind of like my cutoff. I never was actually over 200 pounds. I would touch 200 pounds, but I never like stepped into the 200s and stayed there. I was always kind of a little bit of 200, but back down to 195. And that's kind of where I always sat until the ACG, until I gained that 90 pounds. So I graduated high school and I went to hair school. Hair school was a horrible experience for me. Absolutely horrible. It's actually a time in my life I do not really like talking about, because I just don't even want to inch into it. But basically, I was treated horribly in hair school. And that is actually when I was like gradually gaining that 90 pounds. So I was like, I entered into hair school a little bit thicker, but I hadn't really hit that major weight gain. And so I get into hair school and I'm kind of slowly gaining. And then I was in a very toxic relationship. All around, like, that year of my life was probably the worst year of my entire life. It was horrible. It's a long story of hair school, but basically hair school people did not treat me good at all. I was, for the first time in my life, actually kind of bullied every day for like a year. It was awful. So that's, of course, when I reached my heaviest weight. So I got off that HCG, I entered into hair school, and I rapidly gained about 90 pounds instantly. I gained the weight so fast. I then was in this place where I was so unhappy. My relationship was awful. My school was torturous. I was at the heaviest weight I've ever been. I just felt like I was in the darkest place in my entire life. I was working on the weekends until 3 o'clock in the morning. I was waiting tables at Buffalo and Wild Wings. So I literally was in school full time and working every second that I wasn't in school. And all in all, that was the worst time of my life. After hair school, I got a job instantly. I broke up with the guy that I was with, finally got out of that toxic relationship. I started getting back close with my friends again that I kind of just pushed away when I was in that relationship, which I think you do when you're in a horrible relationship. Basically, I just started living life. I felt like for the first time in so long, I started actually living my life and things started looking up. Of course, my weight started looking up as well. She started climbing up, but it is what it is. I then met Steven, my husband. We were friends at first. I've known him actually since middle school, but I didn't really know him. He went to a completely different school than I did. We ended up being really good friends. He started catching feelings for me. I kind of started catching feelings for him, but unknowingly, I was just kind of trying to do my own thing. But he made a move one night. He kissed me, and I can't even explain the feeling that I got when I had my first kiss with my husband. It was like, wow. So I instantly was like, oh my gosh. So I'm with Steven, and within the first month of being with him, I was like, I'm marrying this guy. I'm marrying this guy. This is the guy I'm gonna marry, which is crazy. And I know I kind of skipped past a lot of this, but I was in 2-3-year relationships that were very serious. And my very first relationship, when I was graduating high school, I actually was proposed to, and I said no. And so there was a lot of things. I was like really, I was almost like not scared of commitment, but I was scared of like, I guess marrying the wrong person, or like I just felt as if there was nobody that I truly felt like unconditional love for until I met Steven. And I knew instantly Steven was like my soulmate, my everything. Like I can't even explain like how I just knew in my heart he was the one. And so when I met him, you know, I felt like everything in my life started like kind of just blossoming. And I think that was just another sign that I knew God placed Steven into my life, because I'm gonna get these are happy tears now. For the first time, I was so confident in myself. I was so happy. It just like made me glow, and it made me like view myself in a different way. And it was so weird. It wasn't like Steven was just like overly like complimenting or anything like that. It was just like, I don't know how to explain it. I just felt so happy, and I met people, everything just like, all these pieces just started connecting. I make new friendships and connections that are like lifelong friends, and people I cannot see my life ever without. Of course, I met Steven, who then became my husband. I got really close with my family. I started thriving in my hair business, and there were so many good things that were going up. And, you know, I was in this place where I finally accepted my weight for what it is, and I was so confident. I actually experienced like what confidence felt like for the first time in my life. It was like every place I went, I was feeling so good. I walked into the room, and this might sound conceited, but I was like, I am rocking this room. Like, I am that girl. And it was, I don't know, I think I was in such a place where I was so happy that everything that I saw, and whether it be myself, or whether that be the people in my life, or whether it be just anything, I just felt like everything was just like more colorful, and everything was more bright, and everything was more positive. And so everything was just more than. And so, you know, I was happy, and I was happy for a long time. And then, you know, I came to this place where my health really started diving bad into a horrible direction. I started drinking way too much. I think when you're in your early 20s, that's like, we're now out of college, we're all, got our degrees, so let's just party up. So that's what we did. We just partied and lived our best life. I was always at concerts. I was always at the bar, standing on the bar somewhere. And all in all, drinking really bad, eating a lot. Not to mention this, when I was in hair school, that is when I actually developed my binge eating disorder. It was from the stress, the emotional eating, the everything. That is when I developed my binge eating disorder. And so of course I was binging, I was eating whatever, doing whatever. I honestly had no rules on my life. And although I loved it, it started affecting my health. I had so many issues with my health. I had to get an MRI done. I had to get CAT scans done. I had to get biopsies done. I had so many things that I had to get done because my health was so bad, and it was like literally affecting everything. I had headaches every single day. I was sick all the time. I would throw up all the time because I was so sick. I had rashes like randomly popping up everywhere on my body. I would wake up with a new fucking rash every day, and it was because of the food that I was putting into my body was so toxic and so bad and so packaged, and had nothing but red 40 in probably everything I fucking ate. I ate nothing but hot Cheetos. So it really, like, my body was screaming from the inside and out. It literally was like the rashes, looking back on it, was literally just like big stop signs saying, girl, stop, chill out, like, care about what you're putting into your body. And so it was like feeding my body nothing but toxic food, toxic alcohol, toxic everything for years. I lost my best friend, who was my brother-in-law. His name was Keith. And, that was a big eye-opener for me. I feel like Keith and I talked about some just like things in life. I talked about how a lot of times I felt like I was in this place that I was confused in. I was confused on who I was supposed to be. I burnt out on this lifestyle that I was living, and I just felt all in all that I had stayed in this. I have spent so many years just wasting time on things that have done nothing for me. And so for some reason, like, even though I was still young, I still felt as if like I was not in the place I should have been at. And so I cried a lot, and we talked about it a lot. We got deep, and he said, you're feeling this way for a reason. There's so many things that can happen, so many things that you can do, and so many things that you need to do, or, just work towards doing. And I told him, I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, I want to, but I don't know what that is. And I remember saying that to him all the time, and he was like, you just make no sense. You make no sense. And I was like, I know, I make no sense, but I had this burning feeling that I'm supposed to be doing something and I'm not, and it's driving me crazy. And so I knew that my health was bad. And so step one, okay, I need to get healthy. I need to get healthy. I'm tired of having no energy, because if I have no energy, I have no drive, I have no wants, I have no will to do anything for my life. There's nothing I can do right now because I don't have the body to be able to do it. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't have the capabilities to move my body the way I want to. My body does not have the energy to get me through the day. I just all around needed my body to be able to perform for me to do anything, good in my life. Like, that's honestly, if I'm being honest, that was a realization that I had. It's like, I had to change. I have to change this. And so that is when I started my journey. And from there, life took off. And, I struggled a lot. My first year was nothing but like make these meals. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to like count calories. I don't know how to count macros. I don't know how to do any of this. Like, how am I supposed to do it? And I was the only one able to do it and teach myself how to do it because no one else could. Like, I could ask all the questions all the time. I can't remember how many times I messaged people and was like, hey, like, how do you count macros? And they would send me a message back to me explaining it. And I would sit here and say, girl, what? That makes no sense. Like, what are you speaking right now? You literally make no sense to me. And so I learned real quickly, like, no matter how much information I had from somebody or how much information that was thrown at me or someone tried to help me, like, I couldn't, they just didn't lay it out the way that I needed them to lay it out. Like, I need you to break it down as simple as possible for me to understand what you are saying. And no one did. And so that is when I just said, okay, I'm going to have to just do it. I'm just going to have to figure it out. I'm just going to have to figure this shit out. So that's what I did. And that's going to be a whole nother video that I will have to make because I know this one is already long. But moral of the story is, and what I really want y'all to get from this is that I have struggled with my weight my whole life. I tried every diet that you can imagine. I had my own struggles, my own obstacles. I had zero discipline. I had zero drive. I didn't know anything about anything. When I started my journey, I had no idea the path that it would leave me on. But that burning fire that I had within me saying, like, I feel as if I'm supposed to be doing something. Within like my first like couple months of my journey, I started realizing, like, oh my gosh, like, I feel as if although I have no idea where this is leading me, I still feel as if I'm on the right path. And as my journey continued on and I lost my first 40 pounds, I started posting it and people was reaching out to me saying, like, I know I don't know you, but I'm so proud of you. And like, how do I do this? How do you do this? And me being able to actually give them answers that make sense. I just realized real quickly, like, I had this burning fire within me because I was meant to help people who are just like me. And not just only with losing the weight in a very healthy, sustainable way, but in a way that they can understand how they did it. And so that they never are confused on how the body works ever again. They're never confused on, like, why carbs aren't bad for you or why over exercising can be more harm than bad or more harmful than good. And all around, I can teach people how to do this and ways to go about it to where it will greatly not only affect, of course, their physical health, but their mental health, their emotional health. So I wanted to share this because there isn't anything special about me. And I'm telling you that right now, there's not. I was not a disciplined person, and I had no willpower, and I had no motivation. I had no knowledge. I struggled just like everybody else struggled. But what makes me different is the fact that I just never gave up on myself. And not only did I just not give up on myself, but I made sure that whatever I did was healthy, because I knew one thing when it came to starting my journey. I never wanted to feel like I felt when I did that HCG diet. I never wanted to feel that way ever again. I never wanted to put myself in that position again. So although the HCG diet was like the worst thing I ever did, it happens to be probably one of the best things I ever did, because I knew no matter how I did it, I would never resort to anything like that ever again. So it completely changed my life in a weird way. But yeah, I hope this helps you guys. And again, thank y'all so much for for popping on and watching this video and being a part of my Monday Mare videos. Yeah.